All right. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Let's get ready to roll. This is part 4 of our web series here. This is Detox Time. Clean up, clean out, live free. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about. If you've ever been in our office, you know we have something called 5 essentials. The nervous system is first. If you haven't seen a chiropractor, this is how we take pressure off the nervous system so your body's able to function and heal. But most people are focused on exercising and nutrition, and they tend to miss this thing called toxicity. So that's what today's workshop is going to be on, cleaning out, cleaning up so you can live the life you want to. We want to empower you to be able to do whatever it is you want to do. So we'll get to some details on that here in just a second. Let's see if I can get this PowerPoint going. If you've been with us, let me hide that. If you've been with us from the beginning, we started off with an introduction to New Year, New You. We started this in February because we know most people are either struggling by now. I think the stats are like 95% of people quit their New Year's resolutions or their goals 1 week into doing it. In 1 month, it's almost gone. So then we went to goal setting, having a plan, our SMART goals, SMART. These are all on Facebook. These are all on YouTube. So if you want to go back and watch these, you can. Then we have Eat Great to Look Great was last week. And then today is our detox. Thursday, please tune in for that one. That's going to be one of our most powerful workshops we've done. The 4 A's, allergies, autism, ADHD, and asthma. 1 in 3 kids in the United States is dealing with those right now. It's becoming an epidemic that we really need to deal with. Dr. Delphine and myself are going over pediatrics, pregnancy, kids, why we can help make a change. And then we'll finish this off with exercise, movement is life will be the last series we do as we wrap it all up. If you remember, again, from our first class, there was this vision sheet. We had vision casting. If you don't have that, you can go back and download that. We have it on Facebook. If you can't find it, let me know. If you come in the office, you want it, great. Otherwise, you can just copy it right from there. Get a piece of paper out, write it down, and you're going to look at our 5-year goals, our 6-month health goal, our 1-year health goal, our 2-year health goal. We're going to help you make these changes. This is not just tips and tricks on how to lose weight quick or exercise better. This is lifestyle changes so you live the best life possible. So let's get this thing started. Minimizing toxins is one of our 5 essentials. Most people are toxic and they don't even know it. Nobody's ever talked to you about it. We're focused on losing weight, or we're focused on exercising, or quitting smoking, or sleeping better, or drinking more water. And we don't ever look at toxicity. Why some people have chronic issues, chronic inflammation, fibromyalgia, any type of autoimmune disease. Toxicity can build up in the body. So we're going to focus on that today. I am going to get a little bit of help today. One of my good friends, Sebastian Stankiewicz, is going to join us here. I'm going to bring him in so he can introduce himself here. There he is. You with me, Sebastian?
I'm here. Thank you for inviting me.
Can you hear yourself? Take yourself off mute.
Oh, I was unmuted. Can you hear me?
Where'd you go?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Yeah.
I still can't hear you, bud.
Oh, I'm unmuted.
Check out that mute button.
Yeah, it's unmuted. Can you hear me?
Not yet. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I cannot hear you at the moment. If you can work on that mute, see if there's mute on your computer or mute on StreamYard.
It's not.
We talked to each other earlier, so we'll have some technical issues we'll figure out. But Sebastian is with Healthy and Happy Living. It's a company he founded, working with Salad Master, which is the healthiest cookware on the market. He's a certified nutritional coach. He's a chef, changing lives 1 meal at a time. So can we hear you yet?
I hope.
Not yet?
I'm on mute.
All right, well, listen, I'm going to keep moving with our presentation here. If you can work on that and see if you can either maybe headphones or something, I don't know, see if we can get some volume here, and then we'll bring you back in just a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right, so why do we need a detox? What's the reason that we should be looking at this? Why should we be concerned about this? If you haven't just looked in your closet or looked around your house and just seen some of the stuff that you're working with, you may not even know that the toxins are around you. So you can see I've got a bar of soap in there. I've got antiperspirant, deodorant, plastic water bottle, medications, sunscreen, the food people eat. This is actually, if you look right in the middle where that red arrow is, this is a picture I took when I was at the park with with a couple of my children. Because some people say, well, Dr. Nick, I don't have chemicals and I keep myself very clean. Why would I need a detox? Well, if you look at that red arrow, that's pointing to somebody. I was at the park outside. A company came up, and that's people's right to do it. They call and hire a company, God bless them. But they started spraying the trees, I'm assuming for bugs. But that's something, just so you know, I can't control that. You can't control that. If your neighbors, if people in the community are spraying for mosquitoes or bugs or whatever those chemicals are, it took about a minute. And all those chemicals, we could smell them at the park. It just starts that stuff seeps into your body. If your soap, if you looked at the ingredients on your soap, can you pronounce them? Your antiperspirant, if you're using antiperspirant deodorant, that's literally a chemical. It's aluminum blocking your pores from sweating, which is one of the reasons why the upper lateral quadrant is one of the main reasons for breast cancer, because you're not letting the toxins come out. Plastic water bottles, medications, fast foods. You can see the cookware, which is Sebastian's specialty, the non-stick cookware, which we all probably went through a time where that was something we absolutely had to have, right? We want this non-stick cookware. Sunscreen. Have you looked at your sunscreen? Some people, think about it. Has the incidence of skin cancer gone down since sunscreen's been out there? Not at all. The chemicals in sunscreen may be causing more of skin cancer than just being exposed to sun. So we got to find out better ways to work in the environment that we have and still stay healthy. So how does toxicity work? What are we looking at? I thought it was a great chart when I looked at it here. So you get toxins, you can breathe them in, they can come in through your skin, they come in through your gut when you eat them, when you ingest them. Think about everything you've done since you can remember. When I was in college, I didn't know any of this stuff. I was a toxic time bomb walking around. So then we have a main detoxifying organ called our liver. But if the liver gets overwhelmed, which most of the time it will, if we have these heavy toxic loads, those toxins have to go somewhere. Your body's got to deal with that. And it tends to store them in fat cells. It can store them in your joints, your blood, your muscles, your tissues. And then when you get a buildup of those toxins, you'll get symptoms from that. Now, if we don't take time throughout our life, our day, throughout the year to help decrease that toxic load, it's just going to keep building up and building up. And like I said, I think this is one of the top reasons why people have some chronic issues. Once they've started getting checked under chiropractic care and we're removing interference from their spine and they're getting healthier, things that tend to linger, I like to look at detoxing the body first. Because especially when it comes to losing weight, I'll talk about obesogens in here a little bit, but if you have toxic cells, your body doesn't want to release those fat cells because there's toxins in them. So we've got to break that down and force your body to process things. So endocrine disruptors and heavy metal toxicity, those are probably two of the big toxicity that we deal with. Heavy metal toxicity is one of the nastier ones, and that can start all the way from birth. Those metals get into our body and then they get stored because your body has to process them. So some of the ones people look at: zinc, copper, chromium, iron, magnesium. These are all essential to bodily functions in normal levels. It is possible to get too much in there, which can cause issues as well. But the big ones we look at are lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium. Those are the ones that we don't really want in the body at all. I think a lot of people are aware of lead and mercury, right? There used to be lead-based paints. We know those are so toxic that we don't want to be around those anymore. Mercury, think about thermometers. They don't have any mercury-based thermometers anymore. It's a health hazard if something like that breaks. But we tend to put those things in our body on a regular basis. One of the examples, I know it's a bit of a touchy subject for some people, but is thimerosal. Thimerosal is a mercury-based preservative that used to be very prevalent in vaccinations. That's how they would, when they make these mass quantities, that's how they preserve them. And then around 1999 area, they started thinking maybe we shouldn't have a mercury-based thing in this. So they've actually required all those to be pulled out. We talk about the science base of it. Well, that used to be approved. Thimerosal used to be a great thing. Everybody loved having it in there. Whoops, we were wrong. But there's still today, there's even some of the injections, like the flu, that does have thimerosal in it still. Even if it's a low level, think about the amount of that you had injected into your body over time. Especially like when I was born in the 80s, so that wasn't regulated out yet. I was getting thimerosal like crazy. It's a mercury base, and if you've never done anything to pull that out of the body, you probably have some toxicity issues you need to deal with. Endocrine disruptors. Endocrine disruptors are your hormone. This is what works with hormones, your hormonal system. So these toxins come into your body. Think of things like pesticides, flame retardant chemicals in your mattresses and your carpets, phthalates, which are in plastics, packaging and toys, your BPA, which again, that's how all plastics were made when that first started coming out. Whoops, the science was wrong. We don't want BPA in it. It's dangerous. So now we got to take all the BPA out, and most people are eliminating that now, but it's still in a lot of food containers, things you wouldn't look at, pharmaceuticals, fireworks, things, all this stuff lands in your drinking water. And we have these toxins continue to bombard our body. And the reason why endocrine disruptors are a problem is because they start to mimic hormones. So let's say that this is, let me get over here. Let's say this is a hormone we want to turn on or off. And very basically, we have this endocrine, this marker that comes in, and it wants to fit in there, and it tells you to go ahead and turn that hormone on or off. Well, if you have an endocrine disruptor, that means that chemical, that toxin comes in, it acts like that receptor. It takes up the place. So your body says, oh, I should turn this thyroid on or thyroid off, and it's doing that when it's not supposed to, because those chemicals are synthetically faking it. So your body can't tell the difference. And this is why we have so many issues. And if you look at the research, it's stating that even little bits of shifts in your endocrine system can cause massive problems. So if you haven't looked at toxicity in your body, you haven't done a detox or a cleanse, or if you haven't just tried to change your intake of chemicals, I would highly, highly recommend it, which is why we're doing this as part of our web series, because toxicity builds up and it becomes a major issue for people. Obesogens, kind of a newer term, but obesogens are part of that endocrine disruptor. It's part of the endocrine system. So what happens is when you have these chemical overload, this toxic overload, your body has to process that. It's got to put it somewhere. Like your liver has trouble keeping up with all the toxins that'll come in. So you store them in something like fat cells. So your body wants to get it out of the bloodstream. So it deals with it. It knows it's at least stored somewhere. So it's going to put those in your fat cells. And you wonder why you can't lose weight or why you're having trouble losing weight. These obesogens, your body doesn't want to break those toxic fat cells down. So you have this toxicity back in your body. So we've got to, how do we get those out then? So basically you have to deal with it. That's what a true detox comes in. So there's things that cleanses and detoxes, water fast, juice fast, which they're all helpful. I would recommend all of those. But if you're doing like a detox, that's actually helping your body, supporting it with like activated charcoal, glutathione, which is one of the best antioxidants out there, which is going to get into those toxic cells. It's going to help your body force to break those down and process those toxins so you can actually get into those fat cells and get rid of them. I mean, some of us may have had these toxic cells for years and years that just keep building and building in our body. All right, here we go. Hopefully we're going to bring Sebastian back. We can hear him, and I know he's got a pretty amazing story here. So Salad Master is the company that he is part of with his own company. The cookware is phenomenal. It's something we started using a couple of years ago, and hopefully he'll be able to walk us through how that is.
Can you hear me now?
All right, let's see. Can
you hear me now?
Hold on, let me check one thing. Do I have you muted?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I am not hearing you.
I don't know why. I don't know, because my microphone is on.
You can let us so you can hear. All right, excellent. So Sebastian, you start talking, and somebody can send me a message if you can't hear me.
Yeah, let me know if you can hear me.
I just hear you for some reason.
Yeah, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Dr. Nick, for inviting me over. I really appreciate it. I'm waiting to to see if you can hear me.
Hey, Sebastian, when you want me to change the slide, why don't you just wave at it?
What do you want me? Again, can you repeat? What happened? I don't understand what happened. I lost my sound. Yes. So can you hear me? This is the key. Can you guys hear me? So my name is Sebastian Stankowitz. I'm with the company called Healthy and Happy Living out of Schaumburg, Illinois. Me and my wife are both founders of that company. We started in 2012, and we try to show people how to cook at home non-toxic way in a healthy way. And we represent a company called Salad Master. It's one of the oldest cookware companies actually in the world. It's an American company that produces and sells cookware in the US and other 42 countries in the world. But all our cookware is made in the US, which is quite phenomenal. And I want to show you today, it's something that most of us don't think about every day. Dr. Nick, change the slide.
I can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me now. Okay. And Dr. Nick talks, and he's really well known in our area, in Barrington area, right, in northern Illinois, about the natural approach to health. Not just one item. There is a combination of different factors that makes us sick or healthy. And toxicity is a big part of it, because everybody knows we have to clean and we have to detoxify our bodies. But if we don't stop the river flow with the toxins into the body, we'll never gonna be able really to remove all our toxins, because we bring them more and more every day. And I'll show you how important is the cookware that we're using every day and how big of the part of the process is. So Dr. Nick, change that slide. Perfect. So there are, and keep going, press a few more times. So like Dr. Nick said earlier, there is pollution from all over our area. And there is some stuff we have no control, like Dr. Nick said. It's the air we breathe, right? The soil, the rain that's falling. But we have a control about a few other items. Our everyday care that we're using, detergents, the deodorant, like Dr. Nick said, but also water that we put in our body and the pots and pans we're using, okay? So why I'm saying about pots and pans? Because most of us eat every day a few times a day. Okay, so it means that our food is being prepared on something, right? And depends on what the material that you're using, you might get some toxins in your body without you actually being aware of it, okay? So one more, Dr. Nick. Perfect. So there was a study, guys, that was published in 2017. There's a link to that on the screen right now. And they found that most of the aluminum cookware was made from the scrap metals. And the scrap metals, there are basically from other leftovers from dangerous productions of other materials. And they found pieces of cookware, and they exceeded the norms 2,800 times of California norms. I mean, think about this. A cookware that you cook on every day releases more toxins in 2,800 times more than the legal doses. Isn't it crazy? Right? And that's what we eat out of. And where is the dangerous? Because when we cook, every time we cook, we have a chemical reaction inside of the cookware. Now, food has enzymes, acids, right, minerals, vitamins, and when you add a heat from the stove, from your cooktop, it creates a chemical reaction. And the hotter it is, the bigger the reaction is. So there is different chemicals that can come out of the cookware. Most of us have heard something about non-stick, different kinds of cookware, right? Everybody's aware of it. But what's non-stick cookware underneath the non-stick surface? It's aluminum. I mean, 99.9% cookware will be aluminum inside because it conducts heat really well. Okay, that's the reason, and it's very inexpensive. So everybody knows that after one scratch, Dr. Nick, what are we supposed to do with the cookware?
Throw it away.
Throw it away. Who does that? I've been doing this for many years. When I go sometimes to people's houses, I see the cookware. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's scary, right? And after you scratch it, not only chemicals from nonstick are coming to your food, but also the other heavy metals, the bad metals are from aluminum inside. Most people know today that aluminum is responsible for Alzheimer's disease. Stainless steel has chrome and nickel that it's problem of a lot of health, our brain issues, we call that, right? Cast iron is responsible for Alzheimer and dementia as well because it's a heavy, the bad iron, the heavy metal. And there's also a cadmium and lead. Okay, this is what we're gonna talk about. It's the lead. So I think maybe you can switch one more, Dr. Nick. Oh, and a Teflon, right? Teflon, guys, it's like one of the most dangerous materials out there on the list. It's easy to use, but also very easy to kill us. Okay, that's why I hope you're aware of it. Every nonstick cookware sold in the US has somewhere 2 warnings. And those warnings are hidden nicely inside of the box, usually inside of the box that you never see. One warning says that after one scratch, you have to toss it to your garbage can. Second warning says that you should never cook and have a babies, exotic pet birds, small animals, and pregnant women never should be near the cooktop while cooking. Why? The fumes. Turns out that the fumes are extremely poisonous to us from nonstick materials, and some animals are, to them, it's deadly. Even one exposure is deadly to parrots, especially to high-end parrots. Even one cooking on nonstick can kill them instantly. Okay, and so how you can avoid it? You control the cookware. This is one of the things that Dr. Nick is talking about. There are things you can't control. There are things that you can, and your pots and pans are the thing that you can control. Okay, so guys, I want to read something to you from that study because it really blew my mind. Okay, when I hear that. So WHO, which is World Health Organization, and Centers for Disease Control, which is CDC, United States, right? They determined that there is no safe level of exposure to lead. And everybody knows that, right? Lead from paint usually, right? Everybody knows about this. Somehow nobody talks about there is lead in the aluminum cookware, okay? And a cheap quality stainless steel cookware as well, okay? And the problem is there is no standards, regulatory standards specific to lead in cookware. So it means there is specific regulations about the paint. In the state of Illinois, it's illegal to sell the paint with lead in it, but there is no regulations about your cookware. This is really a crazy part of that, okay? They found that there are 3.5 micrograms per deciliter. It's already the unhealthy level. Most of the cookware, they release way, way, way more than that, and that's where the biggest problems are.
You start to heat it up.
Yeah, especially when you heat up, right? That's where the chemical reaction is. And the problem is the enzymes and acids in food. That's really where the danger is because there is always chemical reaction. At the end, I'm gonna show you very easy how you can test your cookware to see if anything else is coming out instead of what it's supposed to, okay? It's gonna be very easy. You can do it at home, okay? Dr. Nick, can you change one more slide, I think? And here it is, different stuff. This is about the heavy metals and what comes out of it, right? So guys, non-stick cookware, most people know that it's black inside, right? That's how people knew Teflon and other brands that were making the non-stick. Unfortunately, this is only the part of the problem. So about 2015, our government got really strong and started a big fight with a company called DuPont, the biggest Teflon maker in the world. And they required them to change 2 main ingredients of the non-stick. Because they knew it was very, very cancerous at the time, right? So they did. But now, what would you do as the owner of such a big company to make sure people will still buy your product? Well, it's very simple. Change the color. Okay, change the color, change those 2 ingredients the government requires. And now you have those green pens, red, white, all the beautiful colors. And people say, oh, this is good. It's ceramic. Okay. But under that ceramic name on the box, there is somewhere small sign says nonstick. It's still ceramic nonstick coating. It's the new generation of nonsticks coatings. Very durable. Unfortunately, scratches quite easy as well, but it's durable, lasts longer, and you cannot see scratches as well on it. They design some special patterns in it that they hide scratches. So your eye is not aware of it. You feel better because of that. Okay, chemicals.
When we first met, you talked to me about the copper pen.
Oh yes, your favorite pen. I remember.
I got it for Christmas, and you felt it, and you said, "Do you know any copper that's light like this?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "Well, I don't know." It was just ended up being a spray on color.
Yep, it has about 0.0003% of copper in it. For that color, but it really all it does is the look, okay? because copper
We
is
think we're doing the right thing. We think we're getting a healthy pan.
yeah, yeah. But also the copper is very dangerous to aquatic animals. If you have any fish in a house, any saltwater aquariums, copper in any dosage is extremely deadly to those animals from aquarium. Okay, so if it's not good for a fish, I said it shouldn't be good for us as well, right? In a diet. But there is also other materials, as stainless steel, right? Like we said, it can leach lead, can leach cadmium, there is a lot of other materials that can come out of the cheap stainless steel, right? And it's always a problematic because it's very hard to cook on stainless steel, regular stainless steel, right? So Salad Master, the company we represent, it's a 75th anniversary for the company. They designed a cookware that is made from surgical grade 316 steel with titanium. Okay, those are the same materials that are used for all the surgical equipment. Those materials are used for implants because those materials don't react with enzymes and acids in the body. If they don't react in enzymes and acids in the body, it means they are safe with your food. Okay, and that's really how we can stop the chain of putting extra poisons in our body. Okay, so a lot of people don't understand really what the chemical do to people, right? Dr. Nick, I know you're the specialist. Most of us are not, and they know the cadmium. It's a neurotoxic for children. It causes the kidney damage. It's linked to cardiovascular deaths, and it's very carcinogenic. Okay, which means causing cancers. Lead exposure in children is linked to brain damage, mental retardation, and lower educational performance. It lowers actually kids' IQ in school. They have tests for it. Okay, so if you can switch that another slide. So the legal pot test. Okay, we call that in the state of Illinois. It's officially legal anyway. But how you can do it? Okay, take two of your favorite pans with the different materials. One could be stainless steel. One could be.
Sebastian, you're testing the pots now to see
your pots at home. You're gonna test it. We're not gonna do it today, right now, but I show you how you can do it after it's finished.
They go back and watch this. They test their own pans.
Yeah, you can test your own pans. I'll tell you just how to do it. You're gonna take whatever pans you wanna test. I recommend different materials. You're gonna put 2 cups of water and 1 tablespoon of baking soda. Make sure the baking soda is freshly opened. It's not something that was open for a while because it might have already toxins in it from absorbing. And also read ingredients in baking soda should say that it shouldn't have aluminum as an ingredient. Some cheap baking soda have aluminum in it, okay? So when you're gonna add it, don't mix it, just add to the pot, put on the highest temperature on the stove, and once it starts boiling, let it boil for at least 5 minutes, okay? It's important, you have to boil it for at least 5 minutes after it starts boiling, okay? Do not lower the temperature. And also, after this one boils, take a glass of water, hot water from the faucet, and add a spoon of soda to it, mix it well. That's gonna be your reference point, okay? After water cools off, after a few minutes, take 1 spoon and try first the water from your glass. That's how baking soda should taste. Very salty, like an old fish, okay? That's your reference point. Baking soda has a pH, it's alkaline, same as most of our food, right? Which will represent really well what happens with our food in a pan. And now, one by one, try first the stainless steel pan if you have. Try that water and see if it's just a baking soda in it or there is something else into it. You're gonna be able to taste the difference. And on the end, that's important. Non-stick pan always do on the end. Otherwise, it will ruin everything for you. Unfortunately.
Don't swallow the water.
And don't. I mean, you can take, but guys, I'm not telling you to drink half a cup of it. Tiny bit of the teaspoon. I don't know, 5-6 drops of the water. And then you can swallow that. That's from your pen. It's not that, I mean, you eat out of it every day anyway, right? You're gonna see, guys, stuff that comes out. You don't have to be metallurgist. You don't have to be chemist to understand the basic test. That you're gonna see that something else is in that water that wasn't there before. Okay?
That's the leaching.
That's the leaching of materials and different chemicals, right? Yeah. And to me, it was something that changed my life, to be honest. I still remember I did that about 10 years ago. Someone did that for me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we all trying to buy the organic food. We try to have the best water in town with all the special filtration systems. And on the end, we poison everything we put inside, which kind of destroys the whole cycle, the whole idea behind eating healthy, right? So do that at home. And if you're going to have any questions, Dr. Nick has my contact information. He will be able to help you. But Dr. Nick, one more slide. I think there's one more slide. I want one more. Yes, this is, guys, a movie I recommend everybody to see. This is about DuPont company. It's a documentary. The Devil We Know. It's about history of the Teflon. One
So this
warning.
is out right now?
It's out right now. It used to be only on Amazon. I've heard there is on Netflix, but you have to check. I know it was on Amazon Prime. One warning: you cannot forget what you're gonna see. Okay, it's really disturbing. Some information they know. There are interviews with people. They work on the production of nonstick, on the Teflon, in a manufacturer. They show animals they were feeding on a grass next to the factory. What happened with their babies? There is actually a sick kid shown, and they explain really the science behind it. What happens with nonstick in our human body? Okay, and it's really scary. The government doesn't do anything about this. The only thing I can tell you on the end, we are the only one that are responsible for our own health, and this is something that we can change.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I know we've been working many times over the year. Always got very great help. It's been part of our.
We have a hard time hearing you right now.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's my problem.
Now it's good. Now it's good.
All right. I don't know what's going on today. I apologize, everybody out there. We'll finish up here. Sebastian, I appreciate you being on. Always helping people get healthy. And if we need to get you, put your information link here, okay?
Do you want me to put it in a chat right now, or?
Yeah, if you want to.
I'll put my number just in case. It's 847-630-2110. That's my direct number to me, not to the office. If you have any questions, feel free to call me. Make sure you mention you're coming from Dr. Nick's seminar. Okay?
Yeah, and you have one help in that hands. Reach out to him.
Yeah, and I'm glad I was able to change your family life. Now you can, really you have everything that you need to live a toxin-free life.
We use ourselves all the time.
Yeah, that's
all
good.
Right, thanks, Sebastian. Screen now. You can still put it up in the comments if you want.
Yeah, I put my number in the comments.
Great. Thank you, bud. All right, we'll keep moving here. We've just got a few more things to cover on toxicity. If I'm echoing, I think somebody said I'm echoing. I apologize for that. I'm not sure what's going on with our sound system here today, but we'll figure that out. So again, this is how toxicity works. We talked earlier about how it comes into the body. If you have toxic pans, right, that's if you're cooking on those every single day, those toxins are coming into your body through your digestive system. They're coming in through the colon. Your body is absorbing those. If you're breathing toxic air, if you're rubbing chemicals on your skin and your hair, this continues to bombard your body. It's getting stored in your body. So how do we get rid of it? Well, you get rid of it through your skin. You get rid of it through your lungs. You get rid of it through your colon, going to the bathroom. You get rid of it through your kidneys, processing and excreting. But how do we do that? That's the question. So I've got cleanse, detox, exercise, drink clean water. If you've never done a cleanse, that's basically cleaning your diet. That's eating healthier, taking away the garbage, reading the ingredients on the packages, eating grass-fed, organic foods, and not having all the hormones and pesticides continue to come into the body. Detoxing, that's another step down. So that's a cleanse. Plus usually you're taking some sort of supplement or a vitamin that's going to help break down those toxins in the body. It's hard to do that just on your own. If you look down at the bottom, we have our detox system. It's a very basic, very easy to use system. It's to take 2 capsules at night, 2 capsules in the morning. It's got the activated charcoal. It helps glutathione. It's a really powerful, especially if you've never done a detox, it's a great way to start. Exercise, you got to sweat these things out. So let's say you break down those toxins and they're in your system. Well, now you got to get them out, right? Sweating, peeing, pooping. That's how you get things out of the body. So we want to make sure that we're able to make those changes. If you remember one of the earlier slides, we don't want to be using antiperspirants. Antiperspirant meaning not sweating. Deodorant is fine. Deodorant is just helping change the smell, but antiperspirant is actually blocking you from sweating. So you have all those toxins that are trying to come out. They get caught up here because your body won't allow them to come out. Drinking clean water, usually filtered water. If you're on city water, there's a lot of chemicals that can be added to those. Even if you're on well water, if there's things that are coming into your water system, you want to be able to process all of that and clear it all out. So the chemicals have come in, they're probably already in. What are you going to do to clean those out? I hope you take action. I hope it works in your vision and your goals. If you have questions about this, let me know. This is our contact information. You can email us, you can call us, you can come into the office. We've got all sorts of things going on right now. Especially, we have our Family and Friends Day coming up, March 17th. That's that week. We're doing a really great cause. Leah is a 10-year-old girl who was diagnosed with leukemia recently. All the proceeds from our Family and Friends is going to go to her and her family. You've got to take care of the body. You've got to continue to work on yourself. The more changes you make, the easier it's going to be. So we've talked about healthy nutrition. We're talking about detoxing. Thursday, we're going to talk about taking care of kids and pediatrics and pregnancy. And then we'll go into exercise here to wrap it up. I hope this has been helpful. If you have questions, let me know. Let's get you guys moving in the right direction. All right. God bless everybody. It was great to see you. We'll see you in the office here soon.